And welcome, race fans, to another fantastic Wednesday evening. You wanted it, you got them. We are here at the famed Lernerville Speedway for the running of the Mini Motorsport Doors 35. We are here for the Nerditudes Street Stock Series, so you guys have seen it before. You see it again. These drivers hold nothing out on the out of the track, as so to speak. They will give it their all every step of the way. Speaking of every step of the way, alongside me, every step of the way since the drop of the green flag on the season opener, is the legend, the myth, the man, none other than Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. My camera setup's looking better. I love this track. It's a lot of fun. It's a massive headache, though. Had a chance to run it with you yesterday, and I flew off the track a couple times myself. I rolled it once, and you will see a lot of people probably do that because that is the fast lane around here, and you got to push yourself up to the limit, and sometimes it bites you in the rear if you try to get too much out of those corners. So I'm looking forward for tonight, man.
Yeah, and that's just it. You were talking about flying up over that berm. Unlike most tracks, this track here only has a wall down the front stretch. That's it. That is the only place you have a wall. The rest of the track is wide open, and you can go up and flying over that berm, and you did. You caught some airtime, and you rolled it. I know in the street stock race, I went over the berm a couple times. It's tricky because, like you said, that high line is the fast line. That's where you're going to get your speed, and then it gets even trickier the more that we have drivers run on it. The slicker it gets, so that sheen that we always talk about, Jeremy, it makes it even harder to keep that car under control, and it tends to kind of push and go right up over that berm.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those games to where, you know, when do you make that push? Like, you can try it early and get some ground, but yeah, if you go over at least one time, it typically your car is not going to be in good shape when you do make that kind of move and it does go over. So you might see some people play it a little safe early on, and then, but yeah, toward the end of that race, like that's the spot to be. Even though it gets real hot and slick up there, it's still just you can't beat that high line. It's such a huge banking difference between that and the bottom. The car gets bogged down on the bottom, and you can't really make runs like you can on the top, especially in the later part of the run. So yeah, it's just one of those tricky games you got to play, and I'm quite curious to know how they're going to do it tonight. I know last night with the fixed series, there's a little less care involved, but you know, with these guys in the open sets, they really take pride in themselves and going fast, and you can't do that if you wreck your car. So we'll see what that game turns out to be later on.
Yeah. Now, just based off experience from yesterday and just kind of seeing what some of it is, because some of these drivers do double up when it comes to racing, meaning that they'll race Tuesday's fixed series and Wednesday's open series. Turn 4 was the treacherous point in the Dirt Street Stock Series. I know you didn't get a chance to catch Dirt Street Stocks, but Turn 4 was where all the action was happening. There was probably at least 3 accidents and 3 cautions that come from Turn 4 just because everybody's trying to stay off of the only wall that this track has along its edges, and it bottlenecks everything up. So we'll see if these drivers learned anything yesterday, or last night rather, to prevent that from happening. I'm like you, Jeremy. Overall, the racing should be really, really good. I'm wondering if with these open setups, because with the fixed, I mean, hands are tied as far as the drivers. Drivers can gear these things to run in different places. So I'm kind of curious tonight to see if we're going to have any drivers that are going to be able to have their car set up and geared to possibly get something really running on that midline, or possibly that low line, or even a combination coming in the corner high and then, you know, diving it down low right at the apex coming out of Turn 2 and Turn 4.
Yeah, for sure. Some people like to run the chip when you get to the entrance to the corners. So if you put a high enough gear, you can run the bottom and carry some decent speed, but at one point you're going to hit the rev limiter entering the next corner. If you go too low, of course, then you just lose all your speed altogether and you're just trash at the bottom. So it's one of the games where you just, you know, you gotta, I think on that notion, the middle line might be something that we might see kick in more so, Dustin, than what we saw yesterday, just because you have that option to do whatever you want. with the gearing. So you might see a little more cars on that midline, maybe even toward the race. Who knows? Like every time I try to make a prediction, it doesn't go my way. So I just kind of let them figure it out, and we just kind of just sit back and watch it.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing when it comes to watching these guys and broadcasting and calling these races is we've tried so many times to predict something, and yeah, we've gotten it right a couple times, but man, these drivers, they throw you for a loop 9 times out of 10 and pull something completely wild out of nowhere. And it catches you off guard. So it's kind of difficult with that. But I mean, either way, it's looking like it's going to be some excellent racing that's going to be taking place tonight. Looking forward to see what these drivers can bring, to the race in action. And looking forward to see exactly what we're going to end up with as far as a race winner here. I mean, it's anybody can win it. And again, doubleheader night. So this will be the last night for double headers. There's going to be a little bit of moving and a shaking, just because with the races back to back like that, it is difficult for the broadcast crew and the drivers, especially when they're in the middle of an interview, to try to get practice time, to get everything done. So Over the Limit is going to be moving some things around. So coming next week, we will be coming at you on a Tuesday night with a broadcast. The series that's going to be broadcasted is to be determined, but we will be coming at you Tuesday with the broadcast and Wednesday with the broadcast. So yeah, no doubleheader night, but let's look at the pros on this one. You folks out there get 2 nights of dirt racing rather than just the stock one. So even better. As always, hey, what's going on, Hagar? So again, nerds, what's up, pimps? Not a whole lot. You are seeing it. Again, always love it. I know that Jay gets in there and hollers at us and supports us. And thank you, Jay, again, for coming in there. Again, our streams and our chats are always open. We do monitor those chats. So give us a shout out. Give your favorite drivers a shout out. Let us know who you think is going to take a heat win. Who do you think is going to take the feature win in the Mini Motorsport Doors 35 here for the Nerditudes Street Stock Series? Let us know what's going on. We love giving a shout out. Again, keep it PG, PG-13. We can allow it to go, but please, no rated R, no NC-17 stuff, none of that. We try to maintain a family-oriented-esque program, so we'll go with that. But again, we always do monitor and chat. Yes, as Jeremy says, just a little bit. But again, on top of that, we have to thank a few people as well, because without their support, without their help in backing both Over the Limit as a league, and just as important, backing Nerditudes and Nerd TV, we appreciate their support all the way. And for that, we love giving them shout outs as we go on. So again, we'd like to first thank Martin Sports. So Martin Sports is the official apparel provider for Nerditudes. They will be creating a Nerditudes line. So again, stay frosty, stay posted. We'll be issuing out and showing off some Nerditudes official gear and swag from the Nerd Shop, the Nerd Swag from the folks at Martin Sports. Again, they make top-notch apparel. I mean, these guys, you name it, they make it, and the quality is unbelievable. They sink a lot of time, resources, and funding into their research and development to be sure that they bring you guys out there the best product possible. And I'm not just talking clothes, folks. I'm talking sim racing gloves. And yes, the nerds will have sim racing gloves, official Nerditude sim racing gloves. I'm talking sim racing shorts. Yes, sim racing shorts. Hard to believe, but I tell you what, it keeps everything free. Lets the boys breathe a little bit on those heavy racing or heavy video gaming times, but doesn't ride up in that no-no zone. They also do sim racing socks and other socks and apparel. So again, they have an excellent lineup, top-notch, all the way around, and the ownership there is probably some of the best that you're ever going to have the ability to and the privilege to ever meet. So again, check them out, see what they have to offer, see their product lines for everything that they have. That's martinsportsapparel.com. And again, our title sponsor for tonight's race, Mini Motorsport Doors. We want to thank them. Novelty race doors that, again, you can order in 2 sizes, 11 inches and 21 inches. They're at $15 and $30 respectively. You can get these customized however you want. So if you want them customized like your sim car, they are a solid aluminum door panel. You can get them customized with your sim car. You can get them customized with the real race car. You can get them customized with your puppy dog space on there just because you want to see your puppy dog every time you're on the computer sim racing. Whatever you want, you can put on there. The quality is top notch. It's a very unique novelty item. You're not going to see an item like that anywhere else. So again, check them out on Facebook. That is facebook.com/mini motorsport doors. I want to thank Full Send Gaming again, the title sponsor for some of the racing events that go on here. One of the big proprietors and backers of Over the Limit, owned by Kenny Haight. Kenny Haight is also a streamer, and yes, he streams with the Nerditudes. Again, he's a nerd, so why not? We're going to bring him in with the nerds as well. But is also the title sponsor of the bounty system here. Now, we haven't had to enact the bounty system, but it has been claimed in season 1 last season by a driver. So again, a driver goes out and starts winning and starts performing quite well. Look out for that Full Send Gaming bounty. So again, that's Full Send Gaming. Check them out on Twitch and Facebook, Full Send Gaming. And Butt Kicker, the official audio provider for a lot of the stuff that Nerditudes and Nerd TV does. Again, they make an awesome addition to any sim racing rig. As you can tell, still haven't got that graphic updated. That's my bad. I know it says promo code fired up. You can use that promo code as well for 20% off or promo code NerdTV. Either one will get you 20% off. But again, an excellent addition to any sim racing rig that we do have. Will definitely get you in there. You can feel your tire slip. You can feel you can feel the shifts and rev points in your motor. You can feel rumble strips, which helps out big time on the road racing. It will actually allow you to feel that, and it's at the fraction of the price. So again, check them out. That's thebuttkicker.com/AFF=35. That's the official affiliate link for Nerditudes and Nerd TV. So again, Butt Kicker. All right, Jeremy, we are at that point that we are about ready to get this thing going. Qualifying is wrapping up. I got a couple more shout outs. So Dane Lloyd, I know he's going to be out there in action, asking us what's up. I mean, you're seeing it, baby. We're about ready to watch you guys sit here and go for some heavy racing action and some heat races and 35 laps of racing action. And that's Mini Motorsport Doors 35A main. So Joshua Pack. So again, he loves his dog. So I'm telling you, man, Mini Motorsport Doors, go take a look at it. You can get a picture of your puppy dogs on there. So, got Kenny Bishop out there, says, let's go, boys. Got Dustin Hennigan, says, let's go, Chris Hill. So, Jeremy, we got Chris Hill's fan club in the house as well. So, good to hear. But at this point in time, we are going to wrap up the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports. And we are going to take the action down to the track, get these ugly mugs off of the screen, and let you guys come to see what you had actually tuned into this broadcast to watch. So on behalf of myself, Ballistic, and Mr. J Stan, we are going to take it down. Jeremy, at this point in time, I think that it's about due time that we run through our Heat 1 lineup.
Absolutely. So we got a decent field here. Dustin Hennigan with the top spot. Somebody new for a little fresh face on the pole here for heat race number 1. So he'll take first place. Swede Melgard will be in second. Dylan Simmons will be in third. Christopher Hill in fourth. David Tomaszki in fifth. And sixth place to round out heat race number 1 will be David Lester.
Yeah, so again, a lot of good names in this one here. A lot of fast drivers. I mean, we know that Swede is always going to bring that heat. That man does not do anything else, but it is really good to see drivers like Dustin Hennigan in there. And you know what? From one Dustin to another, it's always good to actually see a Dustin that can actually get out there and put a car up front. So that's always a good thing, Jeremy. But these drivers, are, again, Chris Hill's out there. You do have Dylan Simmons, part of the Simmons combo that we see, David Lester, and Tarmashi out there. So, a lot of these drivers, they know how to get around this track, and some of them have caught them the race last night, Jeremy.
Yeah, for sure. So they got a little bit of a jump start. A couple of faces in this heat race in particular even didn't make last night. So we will see how they approach this track once they get the green flag, which should be any second from now. There it is. Green flag is out. And the better Dustin actually had a little bit of a restart mess up there and allowed Swede Melgard to get a nice little jump, and then Dustin with an early slider, and it forces 3 wide right down the middle of Swede. He tried to retake first place rather, but it puts Dustin on the top side of the track. That's the preferred line that we did talk about earlier. And we actually got a spin in the back, 2 cars. That'd be Christopher Hill and David Lester. They got a little bit tangled up there in that little mess up as they're figuring themselves out there entering turn number 3. So they're back and got it straight. There's no cautions on these heat races, so they're just going to continue to run as is. 8 laps per heat race tonight. We see Swede Melgard just nose to tail with Dustin there as Dustin goes to more of that middle line that I kind of talked about a little bit later on. In the pre-race there, it did not work for him this time. Swede gets a nice launch off the exit of turn number 2. Dylan Simmons is putting some pressure on Dustin now for that second place spot. So Dustin, it's good to see some of these newer guys coming out here and trying to run for the top spot here.
Yeah, and the racing action is unbelievable. I mean, these top 3 have been nose to tail since the drop of the green flag. Swede Melgard getting a lot of pressure, which is he's not used to, especially in the heat race like this. But I tell you what, Dustin Hennigan pulls it down to the inside. That's some of the moves we were talking about, and we were questioning whether or not we were going to be able to see that. And it does look like that some of these cars may be geared up towards it, as you see the 16 of Hennigan gets a hellacious run, drives it up the berm there. That's an interesting line there, but it didn't seem to throw him off so much. But look at the run that Hennigan is getting off that corner. The issue is the 15 of Melgard has that corner taken up in that line that just takes that racing line away. So Hennigan is going to have to figure out another way, and he tries as he goes down low. Slide job, crossover by the 15 of Melgard. Melgard back on the inside. These two nose to nose going off into turn 3. 16 of Hennigan on that high side, trying to get that run. Gets that run. The 33 of Simmons gets a little high there, just over the berm. 16 of Hennigan finally clears it. Is the 15 of Melgard going to have that run or not as we're in the final lap down the backstretch? They sail it off into turn 3. 16 of Hennigan up top, the 15 of Melgard down low. The 16 of Dustin Hennigan will take your heat race number 1, followed by Swede Melgard, Dylan Simmons, David Tarmashi, Chris Hill rounding out your top 5, and David Lester rounded out the rest of your heat race number 1.
Justin, if that was anything of what tonight's going to look like, I'm super excited. That was a hell of a race. You did mention that huge run he was getting on the exit of turn 2 and 4, but you also saw his tire flirting with the edge of that berm. So that's that little bit of that fine line that'll determine what kind of speed you get off that exit. So that line or that race in particular just shows you guys how much of a speed difference just running just a slightly higher line around this track. It's huge. But with that being said, we have heat race number 2 starting to line up. So I'd like to go through that grid with you guys. First place in this heat race number 2 will be Shane Yates. Second place will be Dane Lloyd. Third place will be Cody Heathcock. Fourth will be Justin Simmons. Fifth will be Jason Gunnels. And then last place in heat race number 2 is Jacob Jones.
Nah, Jeremy, I thought we went over this, man. When we talk about Jason Gunnels, he's in that 0J, man. That's Jason the Juice Gunnels. So a number change from last season. Gunnels changing it up a little bit, but same driving style. Has got that same tenacity that he had last season. Looking to try to capitalize and have a good run tonight at Lernerville. But again, there's a lot of fast drivers out there. It's good to see Shane Yates back in action again. I know that he's kind of hit or miss sometimes on some of the races, but always good to see Yates. Dane Lloyd, this is a track that fits to Dane Lloyd's driving style. If you remember, Jeremy, Dane Lloyd loves that high side there and has gotten some killer runs and victories from that high side. So this track definitely fits to him. Heathcock, and there's the Justin Simmons, the other half of the Simmons duo is in this one here. So again, should be a very good race, Jeremy.
Yeah, you mentioned Dane Lloyd liking flying high up on the track, and yeah, I expect nothing different as well. And him starting in second place on that high side is only fitting for him. So we will definitely see what he has in store for us at Lernerville. Waiting for the green flag to come out, which there it is, green flag. Really good start there by your front row as they take off from second row, about a car length or so advantage, and Shane Yates really going low with a huge slider line. scrubbed too much speed and allowed Dane Lloyd to come over and take that sole position of first place, Dustin.
Yeah, and as you see, a little bit of contact between the 194 of Heathcock and the 033 of Justin Simmons, but that's what's great about these dirt street stocks is these things can take a beating and banging, and they just keep on going, and you're going to see that tonight, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages. As you see, Dane Lloyd has now taken over that top spot after that hard drive-in by the 11 of Shane Yates, but you see Yates is getting that run, crossover move, Yates puts a nose on the inside, dives it on the inside. You're going to run that slider line. Heathcock going to try the slider line, but has to back out just a little bit. Dane Lloyd now falls back to second. Heathcock trying to put some pressure on the 9 of Lloyd. Again, but Lloyd trying to keep that pressure on the 11 of Yates. It's going to be difficult, though. That's where we're going to see a lot of sliders tonight, Jeremy. This track here is primed and set up for that in a big way. That slider line is going to be heavily used. But something to keep in mind, folks, is all of our cars are nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail all the way back. These drivers are really putting it out on the line. As you see, a good battle right now between the 194 of Heathcock and the 033 of Justin Simmons. As these two are going at it, Heathcock slides up in front of the 033 of Simmons. Simmons now trying to put a lot of pressure on it. Gets it way out of the comfort zone there, coming out of turn 4. But as we had talked about, that is going to be that area there that a lot of people are going to struggle with. The 033 of Simmons tries to put a nose on the inside, cannot quite get it done, has to pull back in line behind the 194 of Heathcock, as Heathcock is solidly holding that third position. Back up front, still solid race in action between that 11 of Shane Yates and that 9 of Dane Lloyd. You see the line difference there. Lloyd trying to flirt and go a little bit higher than what Yates does. But again, we're going to have to see a lot of these drivers are going to have to try that slider line. It's about the only way they're going to do it, because otherwise it's going to be a one-groove track up there. And I have a feeling by the way it's looking as we're in our final lap, that's what the 9 of Dane Lloyd is trying. This is going to be his last-ditch effort. The 11 of Yates had prepped for that one there, went in on a mid-entry, comes off, solidly takes that heat race number 2 win, followed by the 9 of Dane Lloyd. Cody Heathcock rounds out your top 3 podium for heat race number 2. Justin Simmons 4th. Jason the Juice Gunnels 5th. So again, excellent heat race number 2, Jeremy, and the race in action is already getting hard and heavy, big time for tonight's race in action.
Yeah, if you mess up turn 2 or turn 4, you're definitely going to see that slider line from the guy behind you if he's right on your tail. There's no doubt about it. As you're starting to see here, it is almost impossible at this point to make that pass on the low side. So sliders will be left and right, and we will try to catch all those for you guys tonight. But we've got heat race number 3 also grading up, the final heat race for this evening. Quickly go over that lineup for everybody. First place will be Jackie Whaley. Second will be Chris Herbal. Third place will be Andrew Jessen. Fourth place will be Kenny Haight. Fifth place will be Joshua Pack. And sixth place will be Chris Davis, rather. Sorry.
So again, a lot of good names in this one as well. And that's the great thing about this series, Jeremy, is there's never a heat race that isn't packed with talented drivers. And you always know that A main is going to be a spectacle nonetheless when it comes to this racing here. So like I said, I mean, we've seen a lot of good things out of Chris Eberly and his short time being here. So it's always good to to see him continue that good one. Jackie Whaley has always been doing very, very well as with his time here. Jessen, Kenny Haight, Joshua Pack. I mean, these are all drivers that we have seen, perform quite well, Jeremy.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. This track's a little bit different than others, so we'll see what that continues for him tonight as the green flag does fly for heat race number 3. Jackie Will with a decent start over Chris here, entering turn number 1. He's going to do a nice little slide to secure that top spot. Let's see if Chris gets a good run up. He actually gets out of shape there as he touches the door of Kenny Hay and Andrew Jessen. They keep it going straight, though, so that's good. They're still going at it, still side by side. Chris had a good run there on Andrew, but it was cut off, and Andrew takes sole position in second place. Kenny Hay regroups and is going to try to make that move as these guys are now racing hard for second and third place, Dustin.
Yeah, these two here have been going at it hard. The lap prior, though, we had seen Chris Eberly had to really lock those front brakes up to keep out of the back end of the 26 of Andrew Jessen. So as these drivers are still side by side, that's allowing that 46 of Kenny Haight to get an excellent run on that high side as he's working on that high side now, the 0-1 of Chris Eberly, trying to put some pressure on the back end of the 26 of Andrew Jessen. So again, this right here is your hottest race of heat race number 3 as Jackie Whaley is just running away with this as these 3 drivers here are going at it. Whaley already coming out of turn 4. So he's already got a corner lead on a lot of these other drivers, Jeremy. As things are starting to kind of spread out a little bit, the 26 of Jessen is now distanced himself a little bit from the 0-1 of Eberly. But Eberly still not giving up. Kenny Haight in that 46 trying to catch up to the 0-1 of Eberly, but Kenny's getting a lot of heat from the 2 of Joshua Pack. Joshua Pack really trying to put some heat on as well, so it's always good to see Josh having a good run, good clean run as well. And we always know that Kenny loves getting a lot of pressure there and getting raced, so it's always good to see him having to push himself a little bit. But this one here, out of all 3 heat races, Jeremy, is probably by far the most spread out of all of them, except for heat race number 1, the 2 that got into each other and kind of spaced out. But I mean, this one here, you got 3 distinctive packs. You got your leader, Jackie Whaley, catching that white flag right now. Then you got the next pack of the 26 of Jessen and the 0-1 of Eberly. Eberly takes it way low, trying that slider line. Has to pull back up, but does close it up quite a bit. Going to try it one last time here as he goes way low. Don't know if he's going to get it to stick. Little bit of contact. Both of them get sideways. Both of them save it. Will be the 26 of Jessen coming out on top of that one there. And out of the third battle is going to be Kenny Haight coming out on top of Joshua Pack. And, of course, Jackie Whaley taking your heat race number 3 victory.
Jackie Whaley, bad fast. I was actually going through the stats there as he was just pulling away from everybody. He's 2/10 faster than everybody. Practice, qualifying, and even during that heat race. So that is the guy I think you're going to have to watch to potentially take the checker flags this evening in the Mini Motorsport Door 35. But other than that, though, yeah, it's a little more spaced out in that heat race, but you definitely saw 110% from Chris on that final lap, trying to make that pass for second. Just couldn't do it, just didn't have enough speed. That inside it's a much slower line than what it was last night, that's for sure. So you're definitely going to see them sliders, like I said, to gain almost any spot, or you got to put a ton of pressure on that guy in front of you on the high side to make him maybe slip up, get him outside the track. Who knows? We will see that later on.
Absolutely. So with that being said, you see the drivers are out there doing their warm-up, trying to make some last-minute setup adjustments to their cars, trying to get the most out of that, trying to get that track set a little bit more before we hit the track for the running of the Mini Motorsport Doors 35 here for the Nerditudes Street Stock Series. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, we are going to take a short commercial break, let these drivers get warmed up, make their final adjustments, and when we come back, we will take to 35 laps of racing action here at Lernerville Speedway. And welcome back, race fans. As you see on screen, the drivers have just finished wrapping up their 5-minute warm-up session, making some last-minute adjustments, and we are getting ready for the running of the Mini Motorsport Doors 35 here at Lernerville Speedway. With that being said, now that the heat races are done and the final starting order for this A main event has been locked in, Jeremy, how about you take us through our starting lineup?
You got it. Dustin Hennigan will take your overall spot in the main event this evening. And you got Shane Yates in second, Jackie Whaley in third, Swede Melgard in fourth, Dane Lloyd in fifth, Andrew Jessen in sixth. Seventh place is Dylan Simmons. Eighth place will be Cody Heathcock. Ninth will be Chris Eberly. 10th place will be David Tormasci. 11th will be Justin Simmons. 12th is Kenny Haight. 13th will be Christopher Hill. 14th, Jason Gunnels, which you call the Juice, being OJ. Joshua Pack in 15th. David Lester in 16th. Jacob Jones in 17th. And let me just verify that we have Chris with us in the field, which he is not starting, it looks like. So it'll be 17 cars going to be taking the track at Lernerville in the main event in the Mini Motorsport Door 35.
So again, for the size of these dirt tracks, I mean, that is going to be a spectacular size field. And these Nerditude Street Stock Series drivers have not disappointed us at all this season. And they have been coming out in numbers. It is a fantastic showing, and we love to see that, especially with these cars here, and especially in the Dirt Series at Over the Limit. So again, it's going to be a fantastic race all the way through, as long as everything is stays good. But we know it's dirt racing. We're going to expect to see some cautions and some yellow flags. That's just the way it goes as these drivers are coming through. Green flag flies. These drivers are underway for the running of the Mini Motorsport Doors 35 here at Lernerville Speedway. Dustin Hennigan off to an early lead there, doing that slider line, coming back up, but a lot of pressure now. The 11 of Yates putting his nose down low. Yates is going to try that slider line move. Again, crossover by the 16 of Dustin Hennigan.
Right, man,
and we are under our first caution of the evening.
Massive wreck by Cody Heathcock, Dustin, and go to his car, man. His car is having that glitch that we saw last season in a practice session, and Cody Heathcock is, I don't know what you want to call this, Dustin, but I'd like for you to switch over to that camera because that is something else. But yeah, couple cars actually got involved. We got Cody Heathcock, and then I saw somebody, I think those 26 separate incident, but he got loose, sliding down to the inside of the track. Didn't really get affected by anybody, but Cody Heathcock's car is heavily damaged. I don't know if he can get towed for a fast repair. If he can, he's got some work to do.
Yeah, it looked like there was just a little bit of door check in between him and the 9 of Dane Lloyd. And as we're watching the replay, this is the glitch, Jeremy, that you were talking about. We had seen this one other time in the dirt tracks. I don't know what it is with the physics of these dirt street stock cars, but when they get flipping, they start flipping from time to time, and they will just keep going and going. So again, heavy damage to that 194. That required a tow back to pit lane, as that is where he is sitting at right now after that damage. So again, unfortunate break for the 194 crew of Cody Heathcock, as we are still under caution now to allow crews and teams to try to repair the damage and get everything back up and going and reline back up before we go back to racing action, Jeremy.
Yeah, the great thing about Over the Limit is if there's a car in need, the caution laps don't count in dirt. So when there's a car in need in pit road and needs a couple extra laps, these guys are more than willing to help. And this is the case as they now extend it to a second lap on the that was to be the final lap of this little yellow flag session. So they're just waiting on Cody Heathcock, I do believe, to get his car repaired, or at least towed in so he can use that fast repair to get back on the track and not lose any lap time. Typically they allow 2 or 3 laps. I don't know how much tow time he has. I don't think it'd be too much longer for Cody Heathcock to get back on the track, but he is currently still in pit road being serviced by the team. So looks like at this point he did extend it one more lap again, so we'll have at least another lap and a half or 2 laps before we go back to green. allowing Cody Heathcock to make those repairs possible.
Right, and as you are seeing right now, we are watching the 16 of Dustin Hennigan. Over the Limits does what is known as Delaware restarts, meaning that number 16 of Hennigan is going to start out on the front row by himself, and second place will get to make lane choice on where they want to be, which second place at that point in time was the 11 of Shane Yates. Shane Yates obviously chose that high side, the preferred line there, and then everybody will line up accordingly from there on out. So yes, that means that the 16 will lead the entire field as the race leader when the caution came out, and the restart will be on the leader as we are getting ready to go back green flag racing, Jeremy.
Cody Heathcock waiting on the exit of turn number 4 to get back in line. Admin decided to give him that last lap. So 2 cars now exiting pit road with their damages fixed. So that allowed Cody Heathcock and Gunnels, for that matter, to get back in line without losing any spots, which is quite awesome to see. Allows them to get a fresh start here on this race, especially since that wreck happened on lap 1. To get a nice little fresh start, to see if they can maybe get something going. They just got to play a little more cautiously now, because that one faster pair is used. It's a brand new car. They're only allowed it one time. And to use it on lap 1 is kind of tough, especially with a bigger field like this at a track that's, one side with a wall and 3 sides without. So we'll see how he approaches as he goes through the field safely, hopefully. But yeah, they are lining up to get back to green flag. This is the official restart here. I don't think they're going to extend it any longer. And as I say that, the pace truck's still on the track. I didn't see the admin call for it, but yeah, it looks like they're going to go one more lap, and then we'll see them go green flag. I did not see that last call. I think iRacing had a little glitch or something to get resorted out, because I think that pace truck was in pit road at the time that they extended the lap, so I think the truck just had to get reset there.
Yeah, and sometimes that does happen, because when they did extend it out, the pace truck had already pulled into the pits. So again, this is simulation software, so there are glitches from time to time. But nonetheless, these drivers are ready and raring to go as they are coming through turns 3 and 4. On the gas is a 16 of Hennigan as he takes off past the start-finish line. Crossover by the 11 of Yates. Yates is going to try that slider line on the inside, but is not going to be able to do it. 3-wide battle for the lead right now between the 16 of Hennigan, the 11 of Yates, and the 720 of Whaley as they are nose to tail. But the 15 of Swede Melgard is working his way into the picture as well. So, Jeremy, this is already gearing up and heating up to be a hell of a race, as these drivers are already starting to duke it out and really lay down some just crazy speed up there on that high line. And if you would just watch, I mean, look how close these drivers are as we're now on board with Shane Yates, how close they are to that berm. You want to talk about over the limit, pushing the cushion. I mean, pushing it to the ragged edges. We do see the 0-1 go up over that berm as we were just talking about it. I mean, you're not going to get much closer than this right here, folks.
As you're making those calls, we do have our second caution flag of this evening on lap number 3. Heavy contact by Christopher Hill on lap number 3, exiting turn number 4. In that 65 machine, he got loose over the berm, smashed the wall, and came into the right front of David Lester. Kicked him to the... So got tangled up a little bit with the 20 pair, because that car's pretty tore up on their right side, Dustin.
Yeah, as we're watching the replay right now, and again, right up over heavy damage there as you were talking about that berm. And then because there is a little bit of an incline of dirt build up going along that wall, these cars just drive right up it. I mean, a Truex style, and once you go up that little embankment there in the front stretch, it gets hard to try to bring it back down and bring it back in control. So again, heavy right front damage on there, a little bit of damage on a couple of the other cars as he was coming off. But like you said, they will get that back into the pits, get those repaired, and we will get back to racing action here at Lernerville.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be taking this will be the last lap unless they decide to extend it, which doesn't look like it at the moment. Dustin, what do you think about Shane Yates' slider jobs here? I talked about that line preferred to make any type of passes, especially I guess in the open sets where it's much harder to pass on the inside. And he's just going real deep into every corner he can to try to get around Dustin, and it almost worked a couple times. As they go back, green flag, and there he goes once again, throws it deep into turn number 1, cannot get it up there safely, and it allows Dustin to now regain sole spot of first place, and Shane Yates is going to have to try to find something else. As we come now to our third caution involving Kenny Yates and Dane Lloyd, and actually the 033 for that matter of Justin Simmons. Little 3-car mishap there as Simmons goes off the track and Kenny and Dane go to the inside. Very minimal damage there, but nonetheless, third caution this evening.
Yeah, and as you were talking about the slider line that the 11 of Yates was using, we had just caught that in the back on what was going on the live feed. So we're going to go on board right now with the 9 of Dane Lloyd as he comes up the track a little bit of contact with the 033 on his high side, and then ends up collecting the 46 as well. So again, it's just very tight racing going through these corners. And you guys got to understand, these drivers are doing this at high speeds, and they are doing it in controlled slides. This is not something that is easy, ladies and gentlemen. They may make it look easy, but I guarantee you this much, it is not easy at all. So again, just the slightest slip up like that, or slide, or just a little bit too much brake, or even just a little bit too much gas can have repercussions like that, because there's zero room for error, Jeremy.
Yeah, to the example, I know your son tried doing that to you, and you're like, "Yeah, that's easy, no problem." And then he couldn't even, make one lap. So you have firsthand experience on that notion of, oh, it looks easy. But these guys do make it look easy for the most part. There is some slip ups, and now we're on our third caution. So I mean, even the pros are showing you that it's not easy for sure. So they are on their final lap, though, nonetheless. On this particular caution, once again, Dustin will be your sole possession of first place there with that Delaware style restart, as we got green flag here. This time we don't see Shane Yates in the second row, but we do see the 33 looks like he goes to the inside. Just not a slider type move, looks like that's just in his normal position entering that turn number 1. There's not too many cars that run that bottom, but it looks like Dustin, that Dylan's got something there down that he wants to try to show some speed down there that we haven't seen in practice.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's what it's going to take, as you see the 720 of Whaley trying that slider line. But does pull up next to the 33 of Dylan Simmons. Again, the Simmons duo running right now, running second and fourth, so they're having a really good run. But you're going to have to, Jeremy, with the amount of cars that are running here, that high line is going to get super, super slick, and about the only way you're going to be able to pass is you're going to have to drive that car down, whether you pull the slider line on it or whether you are going to, your car is geared for that down there. For the drivers that geared their car and their setup for that, you're really going to see them make a run for that later on in the race, towards the end as we get closer to, to wrapping this one up and getting that checkered flag, Jeremy.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Going back to the leader, Mr. Dustin. Actually, I'm sorry, we got a caution on the track here. David Tormasci on the middle turn, he started on the backstretch on his lap number 9. He just got off the track exiting turn number 2 and could not get it back onto the racing surface before turn 3 came up. Slid way outside of the track and hard into the outside wall there on the outside of turn number 3. When these cars get out there, iRacing does throw that caution for whatever safety measures necessary, and it allowed him to get back going. And I think also watching that, Jason Gunnels, Mr. OJ in that pink and gray number 0, he actually smashed the outside of turn number 4 with his front nose in that little tire section. So multiple incidents is that time to bring out your fourth caution for this evening.
Yeah, and again, as we were talking, it is that treacherous turn 4, turn 3, and turn 4. It is tough for these drivers, especially coming down that backstretch, because where that dirt buildup is at, Jeremy, is very tough to try to make that distinguishing difference between the cushion up top and the dark dirt of the sediment on the backside of it. So it's hard to distinguish between that transition, and that's what happens. It's exactly what you've seen happen with the 313 of Tormasci. Is the right tires just cross that threshold a little too much, and once they cross, it's gone. I mean, it's going to pull you right up over that berm every time.
Yeah, that's unique to this track. I think only on the circuit, for dirt or asphalt for that matter, where you only have one wall around the whole entire track. So it's just something you're not used to and you don't really practice often because there's very minimal times where you have to kind of figure all that out. So they're learning hard early, Dustin. They're learning hard early to try to take their precautions necessary to, keep that safe. But we go back, green flag racing. Mr. Dustin Hennigan still leading the field with a huge start there. Clears everybody by a few car lengths. Jackie Wheeler with a nice slide over the 133 of Dylan Simmons to regain second place. Now, Dustin, I know Jackie is the fastest car on the track, at least for practice and qualifying, and even warm-up for that matter, too. So I expect him to maybe find some grip and try to make a good run at Dustin for that race lead.
Yeah, and I do want to make a shout out too that we do have Clifford Bellamy in there saying that Swede slow in reference to that 15 of Swede Melgard out there. Typically, we see Swede running a lot faster and typically higher up than fifth, which is where he's at right now, battling the 26 of Andrew Jessen right now for position. So again, something that's a little out of character as we're under another caution for that 15 car. Did have a little bit of information as well. Shane Yates did mention in there that steering wheel messed up, which is why he was no longer up in the running order there and has pulled out of the racing event at this point in time. So again, it's an unfortunate break. Well, hopefully it's not a break. You don't want a steering wheel break, but it's an unfortunate event for Shane Yates because he was running so strong, Jeremy.
Yeah, to have a wheel go down, that hurts, man. That hurts for sure. That fourth caution was brought out by Kenny Haight. We saw Christopher Hill get a little extra loose in turn one, checked up. Kenny Haight had nowhere to go, tagged him, went around with Christopher Hill, and then Cody Heathcock got into the side of Kenny Haight. All three tangled on the bottom of turn one and turn two. So that did bring out the fourth caution of this evening on lap number 13.
Absolutely. As these, you see these drivers are pacing it out here. The beautiful aerial shots that we have brought to you by Full Send Gaming. Again, excellent aerial shots at the Lernerville Speedway here as these drivers are working. 23 laps to go as we are getting ready to go back green flag racing as they are coming through turn 3. And green flag does fly. 16 of Dustin Hennigan jumps out to that lead again, but again, we are going to see the 720 of Wiley try that slider line again. Little bit better of a run, but that 16 still has that nose on the high side. One of these times, that line and that slider line for Whaley will work as he's still not giving up on that low line. But I tell you what, Jeremy, the 16 of Hennigan has got that high line dialed in and has now swapped it to go down to that low line. The 133 of Dylan Simmons giving all kinds of pressure to the back end. 033 of Justin Simmons up over that berm. Going to lose a lot of positions. Off the track, tags the wall with his right rear. Still moving though, no caution as we see. And comes to a complete stop on the... I don't know. I don't know what that was about. He had an open track on that one. Don't know if he was trying to bring the caution out or what the deal was, but came to a complete stop and sat at the exit of pit road. So, again, tough break on that one there, but that's that berm that we were talking about, Jeremy, that... you pass it just the least little bit, and that's all you got. It's game over, man. Game over.
Yeah, it's really hard to recoup from that. Also learned that firsthand experience yesterday. That was a weird shift, though, as you're recalling the laps there. A couple laps ago, they all shifted to the bottom. I thought that was really strange. I've not seen that in either night up to this point. So, but they have regained back to the top side of the track. They all learned at the same time that is not the preferred line. See Jackie dive it in real deep to try to find some type of grip. It's just your car just bogs down way too much whenever you exit those corners like that. It's just the tires are not spinning, the gear's low, whatever the case is. It's just not fast. So they're all back hugging that outside of the berm. trying to flirt with disaster, as you see Simmons do it a couple times already, and quite a few others. Dustin, though, just taking full advantage of this thing. He's running so close to that edge. I've been watching his right rear tire. It's just, I think I see some tread kicking off the outside of the track because it's just so high up there. And that's where you saw most of the speed at in qualifying and in your heat races and whatnot. So it's definitely where it needs to be. Jackie doing a little bit more of a safe line, running the middle line there than everybody else behind him for the most part. Just kind of running that higher groove like we expected everybody to do so. There's a couple guys at the bottom, but it's definitely shown if you watch some of their exit times with people running on the high side. It's just, there's just no comparison, Dustin.
Yeah, there's so much speed up on that high side. And as long as you have your car set up and geared for that high side and you don't go over that cushion and over that berm, I mean, you are so fast. And we seen that last night in the fix series, even with fix setups. That was the case. And it's no different right now from the 16 of Hennigan, as he has got about a straightaway lead at this point in time, as he was diving it off into 1 as they were coming out of 4. So looking from his deck lid right now, they are coming out of 2 and he's going into 3. So he's definitely stretching it out there at this point in time, as we are under another caution with 12 laps to go as it sits right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, admin actually threw the caution. I just found it, and it's actually David Lester. Looks like initially, yeah, David Lester and actually Dane Lloyd on lap 23 exiting turn number 4. Dane gets out of shape, hits the exit of the berm, smashes the outside wall, and then David Lester, just innocent bystander, just barely had his right rear hooked, put him in the wall, and it actually sent him up on his lid, full barrel, and kept it going straight. You don't see that happen too often. Very minimal damage for someone who just did a barrel roll, but nonetheless, that did bring out the caution by Kenny Haight, because the game did not throw it, but that was definitely warranted to be an official caution.
Yeah, as we're watching it now, that's just ever so slightly barrel rolls. But you know what? I will give him 9.5 on the style points on that barrel roll and landing on the wheels again. That 9.5 being going to the 44 of David Lester. With rolling it, like you said, Jeremy, it looks like minimal damage on there. He will take it to the pits to take it to the attention of his crew. But again, that could have been a whole lot worse for the 44 Lester.
That could have been a lot worse, for sure. He got super fortunate. I don't think there's any damage, period, to the suspension. Nothing else. Just that was the smoothest barrel I think I've ever seen on iRacing. So kudos to him. Yeah, 9.5, well deserved, for sure. I'll be right there alongside to give him a 9 or at least a 10 even, because I've never seen a landing that smooth. But as we go back to green flag, we see Dustin once again control these restarts so well. 11 to go. Only person really in the top 5 to run the high line up on the very first lap of the restart. And as you can see, that exit is just, you can't touch it, Dustin. And Jackie Whaley is running the middle line. I expect him to be a little bit faster, but I guess this track got really slick. And you can even see the midline starting to get really slick as well. So there's just no grip all over the track. We see Jackie actually gain a little bit of distance on Dustin that time, running just underneath that berm line. So maybe he found something as I was just talking about him. We see a little bit of contact by Cody Heathcock and Christopher Hill in the back. We do have another caution. That'll be our 6th caution for this evening. Trying to figure out where that one was, because I did not see that one initially.
Yeah, so like you were stating right now, I mean, it's the track is getting very slick, and it's not just a single groove that is getting slick. As they are going through, you can see that we're looking at Dane Lloyd right now. You can see there's 2 grooves, so even the groove that the drivers use for that slider line is getting some wear as well, meaning that it is going to slicken up. The tough thing with that is we are coming down. We got 9 laps to go, and the A main feature for the Mini Motorsport Doors 35 is these drivers don't have the grip on there, so these cars are wanting to have more wheel spin. They have to use more brake to try to control. Again, these cars are harder to hold the line as they want to slide up the track, because it is, believe it or not, I mean, that's where you see that sheen at is right there from that aerial shot, you can see the lights shining off of that. That is slick as glass. And it is, it's tough for those drivers, especially when you're trying to find speed, when you're running side by side. And that's where some of these late race cautions are starting to come in at, is because these drivers are having a hard time with that. Now, the unfortunate thing, Jeremy, is we are at 9 laps to go in this event. iRacing will force a single file restart with 10 laps or less left in the event. So we will see a single file restart. So we'll see if that doesn't change anything up and see how that affects that 720 of Jackie Whaley trying to get that slider line moving and going, much as he has all race long on that 16 of Dustin Hennigan.
Yeah, he's got basically 1 or 2 chances left. They were at this rate probably see at least one more caution, but nonetheless, Dustin takes a nice restart. Jackie actually had a pretty decent launch with him. That's going to give him his best possible chance. Still can't make grip happen on that bottom side, but he's actually not too far back after that turn 2 exit. So he's going to finally put some pressure on him to see if maybe he can crack Dustin, who's led every single lap this evening in the Mini Motorsport Door 35. Everybody else kind of just single file for the most part. It's kind of weird because we saw side by side all the way up until this time, and there's almost 7 laps to go at this point. So it's kind of weird to see them all single file, but nonetheless, going back to the leader, Dustin has pulled a little bit on Jackie Whaley. Jackie's trying to go a little bit lower entry because he realizes that it's just too slick, and he needs to find some extra grip, and he's doing a little bit of searching, which actually brought the 133 of Dylan Simmons to his rear bumper. So heavy pressure on Jackie as he almost messes up turn 4 exit. Jackie goes back to the bottom. Let's see if that plays out for him. It seemed to, at this point, he actually found a little bit of speed there compared to Dylan. So I think he's found a little decent line there in that slider entering turn 1, but back to turn 3 and 4. As you can see, his preference is on the top of the track.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of pressure right now from that 133 of Dylan Simmons. We're watching from his deck lid. And again, good run right there. Simmons thought about putting the nose on the inside. These drivers are mere inches away from each other, ladies and gentlemen. That close. So again, I mean, the racing is hard and heavy. Back down to the inside, you try to see that space, trying to get that speed there. But look at the run that high line gives for both the 133 of Simmons and the 15 of Melgard. So again, these drivers are really duking it out while these guys are racing hard and heavy. That 16 of Dustin Hennigan has just stretched his lead out even more. We are at 2 laps to go. 2 more times around this track before Dustin Hennigan will capture his first Nerditudes Street Stock Series victory here at Lernerville, as long as things keep going the way they do. The hard and heavy race right now is that battle for second. As the 720, we're on our final lap. Whaley goes down to the inside. Excellent run by the 133 on that high side. Look for some slider action here. There it is. The 133's trying it. Goes way down low. Don't know if the grip is there. That run on the high side. Whaley's going to get it. Little bit of slight contact. Whaley will take second place. 133 of Dylan Simmons will take third. Swede Melgard fourth and Andrew Jessen fifth. But the story of the night is that 16 of Dustin Hennigan has taken his first start here at Over the Limit in the Nerditudes Street Stock Series, and not only has taken that, but has swept the event, meaning took his heat race win and the A main feature for the Mini Motorsport Doors 35, Jeremy.
Takes it straight to victory lane. That guy is super excited. I'll be excited to talk to him once we get him in the booth a little bit later on. Dustin, that was just an excellent performance by Mr. Hennigan in that 16 Hot Lap Heroes Chevrolet. Just owned the field, man. He had full control of everything, restarts. Just with a car that fast, you can't go wrong, So kudos to him. Excellent performance. Jackie Will with a strong second place. That was my pick for this evening. He came in second place. I wouldn't complain about that one bit, especially had a fight, back and forth. I think he went to fifth at one point, if I'm not mistaken. So good battles all the way around. I do want to make a side note. David Lester did cause that last caution that we did not show you guys. I had to go back and check it out. Turn 4 berm. Once again, that treacherous turn 4 caused him to do another couple barrel rolls. This time it was not recoverable. It ended his night. He did leave the track early. So that was the reason for the last caution for this evening. But Nonetheless, Dustin, that was a really good race overall. Heat races kind of had me pumped up, and the main race did not let me down.
Yeah, excellent race all the way around. A few more cautions than what we expect to see from these drivers, but again, a lot of that contributed to the track. If you go back and look at a lot of the cautions that happened, a lot of them involved cars going over the berm, either down the backstretch or going into 3 or through the apex of 3 and 4 and out of 4. A typical track, if we would have had a wall there, they would have just hit the wall and bounced off, and racing would have just kept going. So you have to look at the track style and the track layout as well to see where some of those are contributed to. And Lernerville is a very tough track, for some drivers. Again, we had stated before, at times it is hard to see and make the differentiation between the cushion on the high side and the dirt buildup on the back side of the berm. It just kind of flows together, especially at nighttime under the lights here for these A mains. So again, good race overall though. Fantastic run by that 16 of Dustin Hennigan. Jackie Whaley again trying everything he could. A lot of slider attempts, just could not get it going. That 16 just too stout on that high side. But does come home in second, but a solid battle between Whaley and your eventual third place finisher, the 133 Dylan Simmons. They duked it out all the way to the checkered flag. So again, it was a good race all the way around, Jeremy.
Couldn't agree with you anymore, Dustin. I do believe we have your third place finisher, Dylan Simmons, on standby. I'm going to bring him into the booth so we can get a word with him. Mr. Dylan, do you have a copy with us?
Yes, sir.
Dylan, congratulations on the third place podium finish for this evening in the Mini Motorsport 35. Talk me through that race for you. You started 7th place. We saw a lot of cautions. You seemed to avoid every single one as you worked your way up to an eventual third place, and you put a huge battle on Jackie Whaley. So talk me through how you got to that top 3 spot.
At the beginning, my car felt really good. I was running the bottom pretty well. But towards the end, I was just hanging on, man. It was so loose. All I could do was just hang on and hope for the best.
Well, you had enough grip anyways to fight Jackie for that second place, and you almost got it, man. You were so close on that turn 4 run there. There was no grip even on the middle line. So yeah, I mean, Jackie must have been even looser than what you were experiencing. So walk us through that last few laps. Did you think you maybe had just a couple more laps and you could probably get around Jackie, or was Jackie just that much better than what your car was tonight?
I probably could have pushed it and maybe got around him, but we're teammates, so I didn't want to take both of us out.
Oh, for sure.
But we were actually on the same exact setup, but at the end I was able to just kind of baby it around the corners and let off early and get a good run on him coming off. But yeah, at the end I kind of tried to throw a little bit of a slider and didn't clear it, and didn't want to wreck either one of us, so I just settled for third.
And there's no problem in that whatsoever. I mean, you got 2 team cars there in the top 3, so what better way to try to finish that night out? Kind of tell us a little bit. I mean, we get minimal camera angles up here. I mean, Jeremy and I, we've been on the track a number of times. We can see where it's getting slick. And exactly how slick was that track getting throughout the race, especially there, more importantly, probably in about the last, 8 to 10 laps or so. How slick and difficult was that track getting to drive?
The top was really bad. Like, I was able to run the top for a little while, and then it really went away, and it was treacherous up there for sure. And I've kind of found a little bit of something in the middle, so that's where I tried to stay in. But after the last caution, the car seemed like it got a little bit better, which normally doesn't happen. Normally, for me, the car, if it goes away, it doesn't come back. But it seemed like tonight it came back. Yeah, the top was gone for me, and the middle was more where I could find the grip at towards the end.
Which leads me into my next question. Is we had a beautiful shot from the deck lid of the 720 of Whaley while you guys were duking it out, and you had Swede Melgard putting pressure behind you. You were a mere inches away going through these corners here. How much on the ragged edge was that for you? I mean, you just told us that the top line was treacherous. It was bad. How did you maintain posure like that to stay that close and keep that much pressure on your teammate and not make contact whatsoever and try to be there at the end to try to take that second place?
No, I was babying it big time. Like, I barely was giving it any gas and trying to keep it as straight as possible. That's one I don't like Lernerville that much because I've ran off the top plenty of times running good, and I was really just trying not to do that. But yeah, it was just as easy as I could through the corner and having to work on my throttle control a lot.
From one Lernerville hater to another, trust me, I am not a fan of this track either for the very same reason. I do not like that berm. I go over the top. I don't know. I guess I want to see how they cut the grass on the backside there, and I decided to do it in my stock car. But either way, I mean, you guys put on a hell of a show there, especially with as treacherous as that track got there towards the later stages. You guys did a fantastic job, and it was definitely a well-deserved podium for you at third place and for your team bringing home 2 in the top 3. So, again, congratulations on your third place finish there. And again, top, 2 in the top 3 for your team. But this is your moment. This is your time to shine and give thanks and give shout outs to, those who support you, sponsors, friends, family. This is your moment.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jackie Whaley. He, like I said, I was running his setup. I didn't even get to practice tonight, and he gave me that setup. I'd run it in warm up, and it ended up working for me. I got to thank Wade Burris with WB Creative for the paint job, and A&E Computer Solutions for my PC, and NFG Motorsports for letting me be on the team.
All right. Yeah, that might have been led to an awkward conversation if you would have beat Whaley with his own setup there. It's probably happened to all of us at least one time or another. We give a setup out and we got beat by our own setup. That's nothing new, but it always leads to very colorful conversations. So, but again,
and he's the team leader, so that'd been even worse.
There you go. There you go. Fly on the wall moment, definitely. But again, congratulations on your third place finish. You guys put on a hell of a show. It was fun to watch. Definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys can do next week in the Nerditudes Street Stock Series. But again, congratulations on your third place. We're going to go let you celebrate with your crew and kind of come down off of that wild race.
Thank you. And thank you, Kenny, for putting on the league, and y'all for the broadcast.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. That was your third place finisher, Mr. Dylan Simmons in that 133. Again, put on a hell of a show racing his team owner. And the person that gave him his setup. So speaking of that individual, that is the next person we're going to be interviewing here as Jeremy is seeing if we can get the driver of that 720, Mr. Jackie Whaley, on the communications.
It looks like I have him here. Jackie, do you have a copy, man?
Yeah, I got a copy, man.
Jackie, congrats on the second place finish. You ran the podium all night long. So your car was definitely pretty stout. We just talked to your teammate, Mr. Dillon. Very identical setups, if not the identical setup. Talk us through your perspective on those last few laps, battling with your own teammate. That was some pretty impressive racing. Clean, too, for that matter. Hopefully, anyways, with teammates, right? So talk us through the last few laps. Did you have anything, maybe even for Dustin? Because you were getting a little bit closer and closer as the race progressed.
Thought I had a chance with Dustin when he messed up on the restart, but other than that, I didn't have nothing for him. But as far as me and Dylan towards the end, I was trash at the end. He was faster than me, and he raced me clean, and he had to check up for me a few times, so I really appreciate that. But that's what teammates are supposed to do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the benefits, right? Someone who's that you trust behind you for sure. You were my pick for this evening too. You kind of swept the practice, the heat race, and qualifying as far as lap times are concerned. What happened to the car between then and the race? It looked like you might have had the car to beat, and then on a flip of a dime, Mr. Dustin came out of nowhere. Was there any change done on your end at the last second, or was it just how the track was overall?
To be honest with you, it was a setup. I didn't have enough testing with that setup. It was the setup. That's what I couldn't catch Dustin. Like I said, the only chance I had with Dustin was when he messed up on the restart. But the setup, it was good. I told them boys it'll probably be good until about 25 laps, and then it'll probably go away. And that's pretty much what it did. So I just need to go back and work on that setup a little bit more.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, I mean, as you could have fooled us that it went away as fast as what you said it did. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I love the restarts there. Trying to run that slider line going into turn 1, out of turn 2 like that off of each restart. And Jeremy and I were talking about it. I said one of these times, I said he may just nail that slider line and complete that slider pass. It just never could do it, the way that we were kind of hoping. But early on in the race, though, like you said, when the setup was on point, I mean, you guys were doing sliders left and right. How was the racing early on compared to, what the inevitable finish was with this track?
I felt really fast. I was just like I've been trying to preach to my guys that are on my team. Just be patient. I was just trying to be patient, and like I said, I was hoping the setup was going to last all night, but it didn't. And that's why we finished where we finished. But still, I don't think Dustin. I was telling Dylan, I was like, we just got beat by a 14-year-old. But no, he's fast. I've raced with him before. He's a real good racer.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes a lot of these two are drivers' tracks. Some drivers, they have their tracks, and it's the tracks that they know like the back of their hand, and they can run very, very well at. I've seen drivers just as well as you have, throughout your online racing career. That's just the way that it works sometimes. Sometimes the setups are just a little off, but I mean, either way, you guys didn't get the win, but tell me your thoughts on your team taking 2 out of the 3 podium positions for tonight's race. Like I said, it wasn't a win, but I tell you what, I mean, that accounts for something there, having two team members in the top 3.
Yeah, it's awesome, and but it really wouldn't matter to me if we was finishing back in the back. We're just here to have fun, and I'm really happy that everything's working out like it is. And like I was preaching to them, we've had just a little bit of trouble with some rough driving. I'm not going to mention no names, but, I was like, boys, we got a good name. Let's just go out there and have fun, be patient, and just drive your cars. And, but yeah, it's, I'm really proud of my team, so I'm trying to say, really proud.
And as you should be, again, they clean race, all race long from your team members. Excellent finishes from your team members. They raced smart races, stayed out of trouble. So again, what better way as a team owner than to be proud of your team? And like I said, for good reason. So again, congratulations on your second place finish. You seem like you have been on a rail here lately. It seems like every track we come to, we see that 720 somewhere near the front. In some way, shape, or form. So again, looking to see if you can continue that throughout the rest of the racing season here for the Nerditudes Street Stock Series. But this is your time. This is your moment. So go ahead and give shout outs to anybody you'd like to thank, any sponsors or anybody that may be watching out there.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all my teammates back at NFG Motorsports, WB Creative, Wade Burst for doing our paints. I better thank my wife for allowing me to do this. Every other night or so. I really appreciate it, honey. Thanks. That's it. Thank you guys. Can't forget you guys. You guys are awesome. And where's the next track at, by the way?
USA Speedway, I do believe, is next on the circuit for next week. Jeremy will give me a thumbs up or thumbs down to confirm that. And yes, it is confirmed. USA Speedway, confirmed for next week.
Yeah, we may have something for y'all next week.
And you know what? We'll be here calling the shots every step of the way too. So again, I appreciate taking the time up here in the booth with us interviewing. Definitely good save and damage control there. Thanking the wife. I don't blame you. I do the same thing as well. So smart man.
Well played.
So happy wife, happy life. But hey, again,
that's exactly right.
Congratulations on your second place finish. You did a hell of a job, and we look forward to see what you and your team can bring to the dirt track at USA Speedway next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That is your runner-up for tonight's Mini Motorsport Doors 35, the driver of the 720, Mr. Jackie Whaley, and his very loving, happy wife. So again, this is probably one of the parts that we love doing, Jeremy, is interviews, because we actually get to talk to the drivers one-on-one and actually get to talk to them not so much as drivers, but as people, and have a little bit of fun with it. So, but this ultimately brings us up to our first time winner here in the Nerditudes Street Stock Series here at Over the Limit. That's a driver of that number 16, Mr. Dustin Hennigan, the better Dustin, obviously, by the way.
Yeah, Mr. Dustin, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
That car, like, I don't even know where to start, man. Like, you had no pressure from the very get-go. Even the restarts just kind of cleared the field, and we were on your own little zip code. What kind of practice did you have in this event, man? You kind of surprised me, because I knew you were fast, but I thought Jackie had, like, the car, and then just during the race, you had a flip of a switch, and your car was on its own, whatever you want to call it. It was just, you were an untouchable. Like, so I'm just kind of curious about your race prep and how much you had in practice before tonight's event.
My first practice race was actually in practice tonight. Kind of went to a setup that I always run there, and when it slicks off, it starts to get better.
It seems to impress me every time I talk to a driver in the post race, and they're like, "Yeah, I had like 5 minutes or 10 minutes on it." So, but at least you had a little bit extra practice in previous times, not specifically for tonight, but at least it was a true and tested setup for sure. Did you maybe think you had, like, I don't even know, because you had almost no pressures on its own system. Jackie and Shane, even early on, were starting to push some massive pressures on those restarts with the sliders. Did you just know sticking to the high side was going to be it? Did you have any fear that maybe that line was going to be something you'd have to worry about?
Well, I've been, like, every time I run there, it's always on the top, so I figured if I just keep it on the track on the top, I'll be fine. But I knew the slider line would be there.
And indeed, you were not wrong. The slider line was there. As Jeremy had stated, both Yates and Whaley both trying the sliders on you, but to no avail, as you held your own. And I will say, from one Dustin to another, I am glad that there's a Dustin out there, and we actually got to watch it on live and broadcast it, that went out there and put on a clinical the way that you did. You make the Dustins across the sim racing world very proud. So, because obviously I would be at the other end of that, towards the back end. But either way, you were. I mean, you come out of nowhere. We know you're part of the Hot Lap Heroes team. And we always know that they always produce some fast drivers out of there. You guys always work very well together, the way that you guys do. But, essentially, you were a dark horse coming into this. First time coming out and running. No one knew what to expect, and you just come out and blew the doors off everyone, bud. Tell us how that feels. Showing up here, there's a lot of fast drivers here, a lot of well-known fast drivers, and to come out here and be able to compete at the level that you did, tell us what's going through your mind right now.
Feels good to finally win a league race, especially with big-name guys like them out there.
Absolutely. I couldn't said it any better myself. My next question to you is, one, I know that you're probably half the age or more of a lot of the drivers out there. So you know that they're going to be stepping up their competition, because they know that they just got beat by a teenager. So they're definitely going to be stepping up their competition. So my question to you is, that's an excellent thing for you. Now, what can we expect from that number 16 going forward? Can we expect to see that 16 out on the track more often each and every week? And if so, can we expect that level of competition out of you?
Hopefully we can keep finishing the top 3 and get some wins.
Now, I tell you what, you started off on the right foot. If that was your goal, mark that one check mark off, because you already got that first win in the books, and you did it in fantastic fashion as well. Definitely dominated that entire race. Your restarts were on point, probably some of the best restarts we've seen out of a lot of the drivers here. And we've had this league and series has got some drivers that are fantastic at restarts, and you definitely are ranking right up there in that higher echelon of restarts. So again, congratulations on your A-Main win here for your first start in the Nerditudes Street Stock Series. So this is your moment, buddy. I mean, is there anybody out there watching you'd like to shout out to? Anybody you'd like to give thanks to? Sponsors, team members you'd like to shout out to at all?
Everyone at Hot Lap Heroes and y'all for broadcasting, and then my mom and dad for letting me race.
There you go. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I tell you what, if this is what we can expect to see out of that 16 Hennigan machine each and every week, I am looking forward to seeing exactly what type of racing and how much racing action we're going to be able to get to call each and every week here. So again, from myself and Jeremy, we like to congratulate you on your first start and first victory. And here's to many more interviews in the near future. Like I said, keep it up, buddy. Doing a fantastic job. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
That is your A main winner for the Mini Motorsport Doors 35 here at Lernerville Speedway. The driver of the number 16 machine, Mr. Dustin Hennigan. Jeremy, that kid is 14 years old and just put on a clinic. If I could drive as well as that kid did at 14, oh my goodness, the things. But I tell you what, I mean, that kid showed pose. He showed knowledge. He showed skill, sportsmanship, which I'm not dissing or dogging any kids or anything else, but sometimes the younger generation, the respect and sportsmanship is hit or miss at times. But I tell you what, man, that was a heck of a run by your top three finishers all the way around. On that note, Jeremy, just because we don't like to, Dane Lloyd just mentioned down there that he taught him well. Yes, you did, Dane. Excellent job. I tell you what, kid put on a hell of a show. So excellent job with all the guys there at Hot Lap Heroes. But because it's not just about the drivers that finish in podium as well. We want to make sure that everybody that raced gets their name out there as well. So, Jeremy, with that being said, how about you take us down our finishing results for tonight's race, starting with our podium top three?
I do have to apologize. That's actually not on my screen. Apparently, I knew our top three, but yeah, I do not have the coverage for the rest of the field. I have to apologize on.
All right.
There. Yeah.
All right. Well, I got your back, Jeremy. Don't worry. I got your back. So with that being said, we know our top three finishers. We got first place was Dustin Hennigan in that 16 machine, putting on a hell of a clinic tonight. Jackie Whaley putting on all the pressure that he could, finishes second. Dylan Simmons in that 133, the teammate to Mr. Jackie Whaley, finishes third. Swede Melgar does bring that machine home fourth, with Andrew Jessen finishing fifth. Kenny Haight comes home in sixth place, with Chris Hill in seventh. Justin Simmons, did I say Justin Simmons for third?
Yeah, you're good. It's Dylan.
Okay, I was, again, just making sure. So Dylan Simmons was third. Justin Simmons comes home in eighth. Joshua Pack in ninth. So a top 10 finish and solid finish for Mr. Pack. Cody Heathcock finishes in that final in 10th position. Dane Lloyd, with the late race struggles that he had, finishes 11th. David Tarmashi finishes 12th. 13th will go to David Lester with that late race caution. Unfortunate enough. The 14th will go to Jacob Jones. 15th will go to Jason the Juice Gunnels. Had some early race struggles with that turn four, that treacherous turn four we were talking about. Shane Yates with the wheel issues. It was running up solidly in the top three. Unfortunate night for Shane Yates. We'll bring that machine home in 16th. Chris Eberly out of the race early will bring that ride home in 17th position. So again, it was unfortunate night for some of the drivers. But overall, fantastic race that these guys put on, and can't wait to see what is going to happen with the Big Block Modifieds coming up. So with that being said, folks, we do want to give shout outs to our sponsors, because again, without them, we would not be here tonight. So we do want to shout out to Martin Sports again. Thank you for the support. That is the official apparel provider of Nerditudes and Nerd TV. So keep checking Nerditudes.com. Keep checking MartinSportsApparel.com. Keep watching the broadcast and keep posted to social media. The announcement will be coming out here in the near future on the release of the official Nerditudes apparel line. But again, excellent products, excellent ownership. You're not going to get any better customer service, and you're not going to get any better products than from Martin Sports. So check them out. Check out their full catalog at martinsportsapparel.com. We do want to thank Butt Kicker as well. So Butt Kicker, the official audio provider of Nerditudes and Nerd TV, as well as Over the Limit. Again, excellent addition to any sim racing rig that you do have. It will allow you to feel things that you have not felt before. Or maybe you have. I don't know. But either way, it's an excellent addition to the rig at a fraction of the cost. So be sure that you take a look at that. That's thebuttkicker.com/?AFF equals 35. You can use the promo code that's on the screen. I know it says fired up. I haven't updated that. That's on this guy right here. You can use fired up for 20% off, or you can use the promo code NERDTV for 20% off. Pick your poison on that one there, but an excellent addition nonetheless. We do want to thank Full Send Gaming as well. Again, the official provider of the bounty system that we do have here. Again, haven't had to claim it yet. Multiple different winners. But again, it's an awesome addition to any racing league and series that we do have here, as well as they were also the sponsor provider for the aerial shots, like the ones that you are seeing right now, those beautiful aerial shots at Lernerville Speedway. So again, thank you very much, Full Send Gaming. Check him out. That's Mr. Kenny Haight that runs the show there. Check him out on Facebook and Twitch as well, and keep it going. Otherwise, we also want to thank Mini Motorsport Doors, the title sponsor for tonight's racing event. So go check them out. It's novelty aluminum doors. They a high quality product. You can get them customized with anything that you would like. And yes, that even includes your puppy dogs. So that one goes out to Joshua Pack. You can't put your puppy dogs on there. So again, you can even do sim racing, real racing, you name it. They come in two sizes, 11 and 21 inches, and they're $15 and $30 a piece. Check them out on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Mini Motorsport Doors. So with that, Jeremy, it is time that we are going to take a short break and get set up for some racing action for the Big Black Modifieds. You will not see me in the booth. You are going to see a new face. Mr. J Stan is going to be taking the booth alongside of, you seen Jeremy, the stash himself, Mr. Kenny Haight, is going to be taking it on and trying to pop his cherry a little bit when it comes to broadcasting. So we'll see what goes on. Got that head shake from Jeremy. Either way, we want to thank everyone that is tuned in, everybody that has commented, besides the spam bots. We apologize for the spam bots. Apparently, they definitely want us to look at their webcams. Don't click on those links. Don't do it. But again, everybody that's watched, that has commented, that's joined in, we appreciate everything that you guys do. Be sure you click, like, follow, subscribe on anything that we have. Let us know what we're doing well. Let us know what we could do a little bit better to make it more fun for you guys, because we're here for you. So for all of the team here at Nerditudes, at Nerd TV, as well as the league and league admins at Over the Limit, we'd like to thank you for staying with us tonight with all the racing action. And we want you to be safe out there. We're going to catch you at the next track.